Mark Pope went on a podcast with Matt Norlander, preview the season, talk about a lot of different things. We're going to break it down, talk about the injury update for JQ, talk about Denzel Aberdeen being glued to the gym, talk about Cam Williams as a defender. A lot of topics from this podcast. First, we've heard from Coach Pope in about a month, and it seems like he's excited about his team. We're going to talk about all those things on today's episode of the Wildcats Today Podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Stefaniak, publisher over at Kentucky Wildcats on SI, joined as always by Carson Nash. Carson, I'm fired up today. How are you doing on this Friday? It's a Friday.
Woo! I'm fired up. You know, every Friday we bring a different type of energy on this podcast. It's a good day for some cold Sprite and some Reds baseball as well.
We'll talk about that. Any Reds fans, we'll talk about the Reds for 3 or 4 minutes at the tail end. So if you're not a Reds fan, you can bow out early when the cat stuff's done. But if you're a Reds fan, we're talking about it today. So, but Carson, the first thing I want to talk about, and this is something I think Carson and I might get into a over the computer fist fight about. We've had some differences in opinions on the JQ injury update that Coach Pope gave yesterday on the podcast. Now, I am a little more concerned about the way Coach Pope broke down the injury. Carson is a little less concerned than I. So, I'll give you all the update, and then Carson, I'll let you say what you think, and then I'll say what I think, and we'll kind of go from there. But so Coach Pope, at first it was funny. So Norlander, I like Matt Norlander, man. I've listened to his podcast a few times. What was so funny? So he asked about JQ, and then Coach Pope goes off on a tangent about like, well, he beat me in chess, and Matt Norlander was like, okay.
Yeah, Pope's 1-5 against JQ in chess.
Yeah. JQ's smart, man, except for when it comes to his driving test, because didn't he nail a cone or something? Seriously, y'all, listen to this if you haven't listened to it. It's Coach Pope is hilarious, man.
Oh, it's a great interview. Yeah. And Matt Norlander's awesome as well.
He's one of the great interview. Yeah, so go check this out. It's called the Eye on College Basketball Podcast. Matt Norlander, so go listen to it if you haven't already. Well, we can link it in the comments. You can go watch it from here. But so at first, when he asked about JQ, Coach Pope does we call it the political answer. And he just starts talking about Mr. President, what are you going to do about the climate crisis? America is the best country in the world, and America's number one. That's what Coach Pope pulled the political answer, and he kind of ducked the question. Then Matt Norlander goes, okay, but when's he going to play, man? And Coach Pope's like, well, at some point, someday, kind of gives another, like, he gets a little, like, and then Matt Norlander's like, give me something better than that. And then he goes, will Jayden Quaintance play this year? And Coach Pope says, yes, I have every expectation he's going to play this year. And then Norlander goes, could we see him end of November? And Coach Pope responded, maybe-ish. Maybe-ish was his response. That direct quote, maybe-ish. So, Carson, what are your thoughts on all that about JQ and the injury update? And then you can tell us Jack Pilgrim what he put out too. So,
I thought it was funny because, you know, Pope always beats around the bush with his answers, and he's the best. I could listen to him talk about nothing for like hours. Like he explains everything so well. But you know, what I took out of it is I honestly think Pope's really, really good at the coach speak thing. Like, I don't think Pope wants to tip his hand one way or the other to let anyone know when JQ will be back, because he knows that's a stallion in the barn that he's going to let loose. So I think it's going to be, for me, I'm thinking more of like, I think he's probably right around the ish for the end of November. You know, if I were to project, I don't think it's going to be SEC play when we see him, but I think he'll be back for the Indiana game on the 13th for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So for me, here's where my head's at with this. I have kind of teetered with my thoughts on this over in the last few hours and last few, day. And my take is the only thing I disagree with you on, Carson, is like, Coach Pope's doing the magic trick. Oh, when's my star center Quaintance going to be back? I just like, if it's a football game and it's a Thursday and your quarterback is banged up, and you have two different quarterbacks on your roster. You got a running quarterback and you got more of your pocket passer, and you know you're starting. Let's say your starter, who's the runner, is going to play or whatever. You're not going to say that because you're going to let them have to spend their hours of practice preparing for a runner and a pocket passer. That's what you're going to do. I just don't think in basketball, like, I don't know what he would be hiding the news from, I guess is where I'm coming. Like, I think
he might be hiding it from us.
And that could be it. That I agree with that more than like hiding it from the competition. That I can get more behind. I'm just saying, like, I think if he was super confident about a timeline, he would have given. I'm not saying he would have said on November 17th at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Jayden Quaintance will be 100% healthy. I just think that he would have said something like, we feel very confident by mid-December he'll be back on the floor. I think he would have, and even if it was like he feels confident it's November and he says mid-December, then it's kind of like it's when my mom, back when I was a kid, I was like, Mom, bring me home food. And she said, I'll be home at 7, when in all reality, she'd be probably home at 6. But if she gets home at 6:30, I'd be calling like 50 times. It's kind of like that situation. And I think that's the reality here. I think he could have given us an answer, bounced back 2 weeks. He doesn't. Coach Pope doesn't know us anything on this. He, you know what I mean? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying if he felt super, 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 super confident about a return date, I think he would have given us a little more than he did. And I hope I'm wrong. I don't want anyone. I mean, my goodness, we need this son of a gun on the court because he's going to be.
I'll give you the good news. He stayed the week in Lexington instead of going home to rehab his leg. So he's making further progress, and I think they're assuming he's going to get back to running here pretty soon.
Yeah.
So that as soon as he starts running again, then he gets back into contact, eases into contact. Then you got full speed ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. Now listen, I want to reiterate this. My negativity, he's going to be on the court by or before SEC play. I'm not concerned about that. I'm just saying, is it going to be a November 15th return or a December 15th return? I think that the end of November to Christmas is when he's going to get back in that span. So he's going to miss some games, ladies and gentlemen. I do. And Coach Pope, I didn't add that. He did say that. He did say Jayden Quaintance will not play every game this season. He did say that. So he is not going to be ready game one. And I, frankly, as much as I hate to say it, I don't think he plays in the KFCM Center against Louisville Cardinals.
Probably not. But spin cycle, good news. We got another body in the front court headed down this weekend. Mm-hmm. Andrei Jelovich is arriving in Lexington this weekend. So that, I'm super excited about that kid. I think he can bring something to this team that no one else can. And he can fluctuate. He can play the 5 and the 4. Yep. So that's another body that you can have in your front court that's going to be skilled and can pretty much do everything.
Well, that's the key to having players that are flexible. Andrei Jelovich, he can defend, he can shoot, he can dribble, he can pass, he can rebound. When you can do all those things as a forward, you can play the 4 or the 5. And he can. So, and he's bulky. He's not like he's not like our last Croatian sensation. No disrespect to Big Z. Now the Big Z's at Illinois, I'm fully rooting for Big Z for the record.
Yeah.
But he's not like the little twig pencil leg. Like Jelovich is a
Big Z should have stayed here.
Yeah. And want to know why that is? Because Jelovich is 21. He's been playing pro basketball. You know what I mean? He's a grown
in the same program that Jokic played in.
Yeah.
And the best Euro league there is.
Yeah, exactly. So no, Jelovich is going to be great. And I think that the trio of him, obviously, because when I'm not going to have Mo D's name in this because he's a 4. It's what he is. But Jelovich, Moreno, and BG. And then if the duty calls, Mr. Reese Potter, you never know. But those guys are going to be it, I think, when we go to war against the Louisville Cardinals. So
speaking of Mo D, Pope had some good comments about him when talking about him on the podcast. He said that, Mo D's a guy. He called him a dog. And he said that he could guard every position. He could switch on to every position, which we've seen. So I think Mo D is going to be one of those unicorns for us, and kind of like a DeAndre Liggins a little bit if you want to think of it that way, where he can kind of guard everybody.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Did you see the speaking of Louisville, did you see the back and forth I had? I don't, you wouldn't have seen it, but on yesterday with the Louisville fan and the Louisville preview video, dude, there was this guy. I mean, no disrespect, man, if you're listening today. I've never been more confused with an interaction on a YouTube. You know, I've been doing podcasts for a long time, and I've never had an interaction. He was like, well, Kentucky fans, they like, in essence, he was saying that they care too much and that people lose sleep and they don't eat and when their team loses. And I'm like, dude, are you not like a fan of a team? Like, I don't know if I don't eat, but like, if you care about a team, man, like, you're going to be down horrendous.
That's how it is with all of them, right? They don't really care about their team. They care about our team when we lose. That's the key to being a Louisville fan, is to make sure that you're rooting for Kentucky to lose and know half the players on your roster. That's about every Louisville fan.
But I mean, I was just like, dude, like, are you not like a fan of a team? Like he was like, that's just grown men like getting upset when their team loses. I'm like, dude, the Reds play 162 games, and every time they lose, I'm pissed off for about 20 minutes. Like, that's part of being a fan. I wake up every day and I work my job so that I can get angry about my sports teams. That's what I do. That's my life. If you don't, you know what I mean? If you prefer apple picking or lacrosse, that's fine. That's just not how I roll. But I don't know. No, like, once again, dude, if you're here today, no disrespect, I just have never been more confused by a like YouTube interaction. I'm like, dude, like, that's just how people work with sports. They get upset when their team loses. Like, it's part
sports
of
matter.
Yeah.
Kentucky is a community. It's not just sports. Like, everything's built into it.
Our coal miners go down there and work their asses off, and they want something to get out of the mines and look forward to, man. And that's the Kentucky Wildcats. And if they take it serious and they get upset when they lose, they should be allowed to do that, because they work hard every day to provide for their families and help this state out and help us have our, you know, things that we provide. I mean, if people let people fan however they want to fan. That's the reality. I don't, and I mean, yeah, when you've won a lot of national championships, you get upset when your team loses. It's just the reality. I know that the team down 75 or 64, whatever, when you
can beat your rivals 2 games in a row, you get excited about your team.
So shout out to that guy. No disrespect, but I just am really confused as to what the heck he was talking about. But so the JQ injury, I think that's kind of where we're at. Let us know in the YouTube comments, like, how do y'all feel about it? Are you concerned, like more concerned like me, less concerned like Carson? And, you know, Pilgrim gave an update saying that like SEC plays the worst case scenario, and that's still how I see it. I think that it's going to be closer to that than people are thinking. I think,
like I said, I think he's fully healthy by that Indiana game.
Okay. And what's the date there?
I think it's December 13th.
Yeah, I'm in on that.
I'm thinking maybe he could be healthier earlier. So like, I'm thinking December 13th is like medium, and then earlier is a maybe, but then there's also the chance for it to be a little later. So I don't know.
I can get behind that. Another quote from right in the beginning of this podcast, which I thought was great, had to do with Coach Pope said he went in the office, go in there, get some work done. And he goes, what the hell? The team, they kicked the team out of the gym this week. They said, go home, see your families, decompress a little bit. We got to, you know what I mean? Because after this week, man, it's boom, 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 boom till the season starts. And he said, Coach Pope, everyone's supposed to be at home. They were banished from the gym. They weren't allowed to, you know, just take a week to kind of get mentally right before this big push till the season. And he comes in, he goes, what is that noise? Then he goes, and the first thing he sees is Mr. Denzel Aberdeen in the Kraft Center, drenched in sweat, and he's accompanied by Lexington native Reese Potter. They were putting in work, and I love that. I banished from the gym, to hell with that, says this team.
We're breaking in.
Yeah. I love that. I love that mentality. I love every bit of that.
Yeah.
And then the other takeaway I had, Carson, was what he had to say about Cam Williams. What was that? You want to inform us?
Yeah, he was talking about Cam defensively. Well, he also said he's a sharpshooter, but defensively, he said he led the team in blocks. He rebounded really well, and his hands are good. So he's got a lot of steals. He referred to it as stocks. Steals and blocks. That wasn't on Norlander's podcast. He talked about JQ in that way, Norlander's podcast, but a while back. he had said he brought up the stocks word for Cam Williams too.
Mhm.
So, I mean, you talk about some defensive prowess. You got Cam Williams, Mo D, JQ. I mean, those three guys can be terrorizing other opponents on the court in their defensive abilities.
Yeah, no, I agree. If Cam Williams can become an elite 3-and-D player for this team off the bench, like that's just so helpful. Because I mean, I think he can be similar. He's a sharpshooter. He's not Kobe Bryant. I'm not going to sit here and try and convince anybody that he's the same shooter as Kobe Bryant. But I can convince you that he can get somewhat close as a shooter and be a way better defender. And if that happens, I mean, I think Cam Williams, I mean, first of all, the dude shot almost 42% from three last year.
Yeah.
Almost, it was like 4.5 attempts. So it's not like it was on
99th percentile on threes, 25 feet plus.
Yeah. And so the dude is a sharpshooter. And I think he's going to shoot over 40% this year on 3 or 4 attempts. I think he is. And if he can add elite defense to that, it's going to be really, really hard to keep him off the floor, as Carson and I have predicted for the last few months, because we are the leaders of the Cam Williams fan club.
Oh, yeah.
So that's all I got for them. I mean, there's a ton of stuff on that podcast, though. There's a ton of stuff on that podcast. So go check it out. If you haven't already, it was really, really good. You got anything else, Carson, before we talk a little Reds?
No, he brought up J-Lo being the best communicator, which was good to hear, because you want your point guard to be kind of the voice of the offense. So that's really good to hear, because I know we talked about leadership the other day, and so it looks like J-Lo is standing out in that category. So that's exciting.
Yeah. So listen, we're going to talk a little Reds baseball now, just for like 3 or 4 minutes. So if you're not a Reds fan, head on out, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We would really appreciate that. But we're going to talk about the Reds for a minute, because Carson, I just can't not talk about it, because I'm really excited about it. The Reds currently sit right now on Friday, a half game out of the playoff spot, behind the Mets, who have won one of their last 10 games. They are crashing.
Right? Shout out Frank the Tank.
I'm not going to – I love Frank the Tank. I do love Frank the Tank. I love him. I think he's hilarious.
Yeah.
But it brings me so much joy when the Reds win and the Mets lose to going, they have no heart. They don't care. It's a bullshit. And knowing the Reds gained a game on them, I mean, it brings – like, if the Reds win tonight and the Mets lose, I don't know who the Mets play. I'll go check that right now. But the Reds are sitting in a playoff spot. Like, as a 24-year-old who has not seen a lot of success for this baseball team throughout my life, I mean, once again, they haven't won a playoff series in my lifetime. This just is the most exciting thing. Me and my dad always say, the goal of the Reds is to get you as close as they can. All right, they play the Mariners, a really, really good baseball team. Who's pitching tonight for the Mariners? Is it the Woo? No, Luis Castillo. Can former Red Luis Castillo help the Reds out tonight and get a win over the Mets? But
that'd be big. That'd be big.
Yeah, but it's just cool to see, man. I mean, they haven't won a playoff series in my life, and just you support this team for so long and keep putting in there finally, and they've gotten us to football. I mean, hell, football season starts in a week. They've gotten us to football season. They've done their job. Now go make the playoffs. So, but you got Martinez on the mound tonight against the Brew Crew, the hottest team maybe in baseball history. I mean, they physically can't lose, and the Reds can't beat them. We've lost.
Yeah, what are they? They won, 12 or 13 games in a row right now?
Yeah, I think they've won like 12, 13, or 14 games in a row, and we also have lost like 12 series in a row to the Brewers. But, I mean, this is, I thought that Dodgers series in GABP a few weeks ago, and maybe it was, but this is now the biggest series in Reds baseball probably since the, prime Votto, the 2010, 11, 12, 13, 14, like those years. This is, I think, the biggest Reds series at home. You've got on the City Connects tonight. Nick Martinez on the bump, Carson's favorite pitcher.
Put him in the bullpen.
He'll be in the bullpen when Lodolo was pissed.
I know.
Gosh, dude, Lodolo. I mean,
as long as Espinal isn't out there, I'm good.
Well, that's what I'm hoping happens today. We have that dude, our number one prospect, Sal Stewart, who's been up at AAA for like 15 or 20 games and is ripping pitching right now. I mean, just cannot get out. He's hit like 6 bombs in like 15 games. He's hitting like 380. Like the dude's just on
He's a
freaking
slugger.
fire. I would never play Santiago Espinal ever again.
Ever again.
Stewart.
Ever again.
And what about the front office? Andujar, man. You go get Miguel Andujar from the freaking Athletics, and the dude's hitting like 390 in 12 games with the Reds.
Can't get out.
Hit a grand slam the other day. Rips left-handed pitching. I mean, just a great addition by Nick Krall, which is a guy that gets a lot of flack from the Reds fans, and he did a hell of a job. Brian Hayes has played a nasty third base. Want him to be going on the offense.
A better hitter than we expected so far.
I mean, he's getting some hits. People are frustrated with his hitting, but I'm like, the dude's. He's gotten some hits, man. It's not as bad as I think people are making it out to be.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Littell guy, I think, did we win his last start? I know his first start was in Chicago when he freaking shoved and we won that game.
Yeah, you know who shoved? Mr. Vandy's finest. Hunter Green.
Hunter Green didn't go to Vandy.
He didn't?
No. He was straight out of high school. He was the
he did. I'm thinking about Kumar Rocker. I don't know why I got him confused.
What team's he on now?
I don't know. But he was one of the best college pitchers I've ever seen.
Dude, when he had that no-hitter, in the freaking what's it called? Wasn't it against Duke? No, it was in Duke. But he had no-hitter. That was absolutely
Wasn't it in the World Series?
It was in a regional.
Regional.
Yeah. But still. I mean, look at this. His in his last two starts for Littell, the guy we traded for from the Rays, where we've won both games. In the one game, he was dominant. Next game, he wasn't that great, but we won 14-8, so we won the game. Like, hey. But so sorry. Obviously, this is a Kentucky podcast. I just want to talk about the Reds for a minute because I'm very excited.
What about the Little League inside the park home run?
The other day, yeah, that was Noelvi Marte, who's hitting the crap out of the ball right now, too.
Yeah.
He must be back on the roids, dude, because he is ripping the ball.
Yeah.
He kind of hit a little flare over the shortstop's head. And Austin Hayes was coming home, and so Marte advances to second. Hayes throws coming home to try and cut down Hayes at the plate. Ball gets through Real Muto, and then Marte tries to go to third, and then the pitcher Sanchez picks up the ball and just, boom, laser beam at third base, gets through, and then he
overthrow
Gallivants home. It was awesome. That was a fun one. So that was a fun one.
Speaking of Little League, did you see the kid on Chinese Taipei yesterday?
What did he do?
He threw 82 miles an hour as a 12-year-old.
Like, that makes me like angry. As people who like devoted a good chunk of our life to baseball, and then we got a 7-year-old throwing 500 miles an hour. Like, goodness gracious.
And then that's how they do the projected speed. That wasn't 100? The projected speed. That's the
What was the projected speed? Like 109?
Oh, I don't know. It probably was 109.
I mean, that's one of those. If you're one of those poor hitters, you just when the ball's here, you just swing the bat and hope it's in your path.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all you can do.
That's dirty.
But all right, I'm done about the Reds. I'm sorry. Once again, if y'all aren't Reds fans, that's why I gave you a warning. You could have left, to be fair. But hit that subscribe button. We'd really, really appreciate that. Leave what y'all's thoughts what thoughts are with JQ's injury. We're curious to hear what everyone has to say. Hope everyone has an outstanding weekend. And we'll see you next time right here on the Wildcats Today podcast.